Hi guys, it's Emily here again. We are doing our second interview with the Hope Group today. And this is with Melissa Van Hook, and she's the Vocational Rehabilitation Coordinator at Hope Group. Hi Melissa, thanks for taking time to talk with us today.
Hi, thank you.
I'm excited to hear about this part of what Hope Group does. This is a really cool area that I think a lot of parents are interested in and they don't know a ton about. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more. So I'm just going to jump right in. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do as far as like the services that you offer and the age range that you work with and kind of the area of people you service.
Okay, well, as you mentioned, I am the Vocational Rehabilitation Coordinator for Hope Group. And what that means is that we have contracts with the state of Arizona. And if anybody, a lot of our families get services through the Division of Developmental Disabilities, which is another part of the state. Under that same branch of services is something else called Vocational Rehabilitation Services. So our job, actually, we can begin working with people as early as age 14. Our job is to help people reach their employment goals. And we have got contracts with the state to actually offer a variety of services, everything from career exploration, some things that help on independent living skills that are specific to barriers that would maybe keep somebody from getting and keeping a job, as well as job placement and job support and retention. Those services with the state of Arizona can begin as early as the age of 14. And those would be for things like pre-employment training. We typically don't begin with people until they're about 18 or so, but they can start as young as 14. So, it's not little kids, it's really families that are in transition services that are in high school or have already left high school. Sometimes our clients are much older than that. They're in their 30s and their 40s, and because vocational rehabilitation is given on an as-needed basis. So somebody qualifies, they just have to have a disability and documentation. It has nothing to do with financial basis or financial need. It's based on the disability. And majority of our clients have autism. We do see people with other disabilities, but that is the majority of our clients. So once they're in those services, they can come back at later in time if they need to. So we are located in Phoenix. We are pretty close to the East Valley. We're in Ahwatukee area, but we do service Mesa and Gilbert and Chandler and Phoenix and really the Greater Valley in general as a whole.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that. I honestly didn't know there were services even like that out there for the adult population. So that's amazing. That's really cool. So then why are the services that you offer so important to the autistic population?
Well, a lot of parents, and I do understand this. I'm a parent of two boys as well, a 17-year-old and 23-year-old. So I fully understand the journey. We are just busy kind of fighting the battle every day. We're just trying to advocate for our kids, whether they're little bitties and they're in therapy for half their day, it seems like, or they're in school and you're dealing with the school team and IEPs and now COVID with everything going on. We really don't think a lot about transition and what comes after school is done, I think. So a lot of our families get to the end of that school journey, and I think a lot of us just assume that the school will do the transition planning process and we'll know what comes next. And that really is not necessarily true. The families need to be engaged a lot earlier. They really need to plan way ahead, and they need to be thinking and asking their children, not just their 18-year-olds, but their little bitty kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, we do this with children without disabilities all the time. When they're little, when they're 5 and they're 6 and they're 8 and 12, we ask them all the time. We always have them thinking, what do you want to do? What sounds like fun for you? When you grow up, what job do you want? We forget to ask our kids that sometimes when they're on the spectrum. We're just literally trying to get them through the day, and they often don't have time to be kids. Somebody directs their life, and we don't give them that opportunity to think about what they want to do. So what does come next? If we don't plan something for our kids, whether it's, work with them if they need to go to a technical school or community college or go into employment, whatever that's going to look like for your child, if we don't have that plan in place, our kids oftentimes sit home on the couch. So our job is literally to help you plan and get them into the world of employment because a lot of parents have no idea what they're going to do. How the heck do I get my kid there? This is what we do.
I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second.
Of course.
That is, that's so true. Because with younger children, sometimes it is about survival. I am sorry.
Well, and I can say something while you get a drink of water, but it's like, it is about survival. And we often, we don't think about it, because I get it. You just are literally trying to get to the next stage. And there's this big, great race to the finish. And you're like, oh, whew, they're out of school. And then you sit there and go, what do I do now? That's what we do. We absolutely are about providing support for that next stage for those that are interested in going in employment.
And I'm sure that these programs are very popular. So I love what your advice of, like, don't wait until they're 18, get the ball rolling earlier so that when school ends, you have a plan in place. That's great advice.
Yeah.
So what should parents who are new to this process then, if you say you've got someone that's 14 or 15 or even 18 and they're saying, okay, we need to get the ball rolling here, what does that process look like for them? What should they expect?
Okay, well, getting into Voc Rehab is just like applying for DDD in a sense, except we can help you with the process. Most of the time what they would do is go to the internet and they would pull up the Arizona Vocational Rehabilitation. They would look through that whole thing. They download the referral form for that and then send it to Voc Rehab, and Voc Rehab sends it out to an office that's closer to them. In the state of Arizona, there are 42 Voc Rehab offices. What is helpful for people to understand is that you have a choice of which vocational rehabilitation office to go to. You do not have to go to the one closest to you. So if you have a good friend, they love their counselor, or they've had great success with that office with great communication, you can go to that office if you choose to. If you choose to use Hope Group, we will actually hand walk the family through the process. So I will send them the referral form. They fill it out, send it back to me, and I send it on to an office that we have a really great working relationship with. Or if they have another one, they're like, hey, I want to work with this office, I'll send it to that one. So it cuts out a lot of the steps for the family. That's the first step. And then the next step is they'll get a call from a counselor from that office that will then begin doing an intake interview with them to determine eligibility. And if they're eligible, then they move on to the intensive intake interview. And really, they just have to be able to prove that they have a disability. So there's documentation and other things that are required for that. The next step in the process, once they're determined eligible, is that just like there is an IEP in the educational system, and we have an ISP, Individual Service Plan, for the Division of Developmental Disabilities, Voc Rehab has their own plan. It's called the IPE. It's the Individualized Plan of Employment. So that is developed with the client, so the person applying for VR. If they have a parent or guardian that's closely involved, they're involved in the plan, and they work with the counselor to develop that plan. And it's what is their ultimate career goal and what are the steps that they're going to need to get them there. And there may be a number of services that they need to go through before they ultimately get to job placement and development. But most people have no idea that Voc Rehab can help them take the baby steps to get there. They think it's just, will put me in a job. A lot of people come to us, particularly our younger clients, and they're not job ready. They need some time. So that's really, really important. Once that plan is developed, you then choose a vendor based on the services that you need, and it is client choice. So VR might give them a list, but they can't say you have to go to this vendor. It is absolutely client choice, and we happen to be one of those vendors. So if they choose us, that's amazing. And then we get a referral, and they begin services. I think people need to understand that's the process. A lot of times people get confused with vocational rehabilitation. They think the VR counselor is the one that finds them the job and does the job coaching for them. Just like with DDD, your support coordinator doesn't actually do your support and provide the services. They coordinate your services with the vendor that's doing your services. Voc Rehab is the same way. We are a contract provider for the state, and we actually provide the services and the coaching.
Okay, that's cool. Good to know. So what is your inspiration then behind doing what you do?
Well, like you, I'm a mama. I mentioned before, I've got 2 boys. I have 2 children, Dane, who's 17, and Kyle, 23. They both have autism. And my oldest one is now in college. He's been working his way through school, and he's doing amazing. and he's in employment part-time as well. So as a mom, my thing is, what are my kids going to do? They're done with high school. They've been my biggest inspiration. I have been a member of my community for over 20 years, working on legislation. I ran one of the largest parent support groups, East Valley Autism Network, for a lot of years with a good friend of mine, Holly Raycraft. And we're just starting that back up again because there's a need early on for support and throughout the lifespan. We recognized it really is necessary. So my connection to my boys and my connection to my community, man, every time your kids get older, they go through a new stage. And that tends to be more relevant in your life. And my kids are at this stage and they're going to be adults forever. That's it. And so I really want to help other families navigate the process and feel like there is absolute hope for their future and resources.
That's amazing. And I feel like so many moms are in this industry. They found their passion for a career based on their experience with their children. And I love it because I feel like you will meet nobody with more passion than a mom who's living it and wants to help other people and make it better for other people as well.
That's awesome. That is the truth. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So what is the most challenging thing about what you do and then the most rewarding?
Oh gosh, probably the most challenging thing is dealing with all of coordinating the state services. I mean, as I run the contracts for Hope Group, that's my job, but I also work with families. I do community outreach. Sometimes putting all of those moving parts together, I feel like there's not enough time in the day for all of that. Dealing within a state system can be complicated. So those of us that use state services like DDD know that the state has its own method of madness and they move at their own pace, sometimes glacial, sometimes not. Honestly, I would say the most difficult thing about my job is if I happen to be working with a vocational rehabilitation counselor or an office that isn't expedient on getting back to me and they don't understand their clients. Once in a while, we have people that don't understand autism. Autism is not like any other disability. It's not that it's simple to have a mobility disability, like if you use a wheelchair or if you're deaf and hard of hearing. Most people relate to that and they get that. But autism, because we call it a hidden disability, people often don't understand the needs of our clients, and they're very intensive needs, and they might need services for a lot longer, and we need more time with them. So a vocational rehabilitation counselor that doesn't understand autism makes my job hard. So, but I try and convince them what they need. So, and the most rewarding is absolutely when we see clients make progress that came in that are so frustrated and dealing with parents who say, I have no idea where this child is going to end up, even if it's an adult child. And we see them make progress, and to put them in a job where they're succeeding and they're happy and they're thriving. That is why I do this, because I'm a parent and I get it big time.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So then my last question would just be, what is something that you would like parents to know either about you or about working with Hope Group or together, working with you and Hope Group together?
Well, I think, probably that we have a personal connection to our community. It isn't just a business. Hope Group has been around for going on 24 years. We were actually founded because the owner's son has autism and is now a college graduate, full-time salaried working employee. So Hope Group was originally founded when he was very young, and it was on the basis of needs that this parent saw. Lori Cairns is the founder of Hope Group. So the ties to the community here in Arizona go very, very deep. And as a parent, I met Lori early on, knew her professionally. And so I think it's relevant to know that a number of our employees have got children with disabilities here. I have them as well. So when you're working with Hope Group, you're not just another client. You are a family. We get your situation, and we truly want you and your child to succeed because we live it firsthand.
I absolutely love that. I have to say, from a personal standpoint, I've spoken to probably 5 or 6 different people that work for Hope Group. And everybody is so kind. Everyone that I've spoken to has a child with a disability of some sort, and they get it and they empathize. And you really get that feeling of like, they genuinely want to help. They want to make your life better. They want to help your child's life move forward and see progression. And so you guys, that's one of the reasons I really wanted to interview you guys, is because it really comes from everybody you talk to there. It just seems to be kind of ingrained in the culture. And I absolutely love that.
No. Well, you're spot on. I love it here. I chose to work here. I didn't have to. I chose to accept this position because I believe so strongly in the mission and in the people that are here. So it's an honor and a pleasure. I got to tell you, I love coming to work every day. In spite of the state stuff that we deal with, I love, love, love my job and my coworkers and our families here. So thank you so much for allowing us to share what we do with you.
Yeah, I think all of it's just such a testament to what you guys do, that people love to work there so much. Thank you so much, Melissa, for taking the time to talk with us. Okay, guys, so if you want to talk to Melissa Van Hook, the Vocational Rehabilitation Coordinator, I'm going to have the link to their profile in the description below for all of Hope Group so that you can contact her or Tiffany if you have any questions for them or you just want to learn more about them. But thank you so much for taking the time today, and I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Emily. Thank you.